Hi there, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, and good morning and good evening to some of our APO member countries. Welcome to the APO Productivity Talk. This is Joshua Lau from the Services Division in the APO Secretariat based in Tokyo, Japan. The Asian Productivity Organization, APO, is the leading intergovernmental organization committed to improving productivity, fostering innovation, and promoting socio-economic development across our 21 member countries, with our headquarters based here in Tokyo, Japan. Over the past years, we have broadcasted a series of top talks and productivity talks on various topics related to COVID-19. This year, however, we are going to place our focus on the pertinent theme of new normal productivity. The topics of discussions will focus on prospects for and business opportunities in 2021 from perspectives of governments, leaders in the industry, professors, and technopreneurs. The session will include, but not limited to, new productivity solutions, tools, techniques, new work styles, new reforms, as well as emerging and shifting skills, among many others. Related to this theme, we have a very interesting topic for today's session, and that is called Design Innovation for Higher Productivity. So the question now is, how can SMEs leverage design thinking? How do they leverage design innovation in both the manufacturing and services sectors to improve productivity in the new normal? To take us further on this, we have the highest honor to invite from the Republic of China, Taiwan, Dr. Kevin Tseng, Professor of Industrial Design at the National Taipei University of Technology, as well as the Founding Director of Product Design and Development Lab based in Taipei. So good afternoon, Professor Kevin. Would you like to say hi to everyone?
Yeah, good afternoon. Hi, everyone. Thank you for Joshua, your introductions. And hi, everyone. It's really nice to meet you all online.
Thank you so much, Professor. So Professor Kevin Tseng has actually many years of experience in design and product development. He's also the president of the Medical Design Association of Taiwan, among many others. So today, Professor Kevin Tseng will share the changing needs of customers and how businesses can pivot challenges into opportunities through design innovation. So he will also give very useful suggestions on how SMEs can thrive in this new normal productivity era. So after his presentation, there will be a live Q&A session. So if you have any pressing, burning questions for Professor Kevin, please post your questions with your name and country in the chat box below, and we will answer as many questions as our time allows. Without further ado, Professor Kevin Tseng, we would like to proceed to your presentation. Please allow me to also interrupt, and if I have any questions, so that we can make our presentation more natural and free-flowing. Thank you so much, Professor Tseng. The floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for Joshua. So I start my presentation. So ladies and gentlemen, so good afternoon. It's nice to meet you all online. So it's Kevin Tseng from the National Taipei Tech. So I'm based in the Taipei, Taiwan. So today I'm going to present my talk entitled as the Design Innovation for Higher Productivity. So you are welcome to give in any question after my presentation. So before I'm talking about today's slides, I would like to take a couple minutes to talking about who we are. We are the Product Design and Development Research Team, and which we have a 14 research-driven product design experience. So this team is actively engaged in the area in the medical design, new product development, and human-computer interaction, and engineering service. So our teams bring together the teaching staff and the researcher working on the range of interrelated area. So also in both the research project and the commercial activity as well. So our approach in the product design development facility, the production that enable minimize the environmental impact and the more energy efficiency and the inclusion of the social and ethical aspect of sustainability. So our activities cover a wide range of area, including the consumer and healthy care and the medicine market as well. So all collaboration is more than welcomed. So today, my presentation, I will to divide into the 4 parts. The first part is talking about the what is design innovation, and then I'm moving to the new product design process. And then I told you about the ICT assist product design and development in the organization level strategies as well. And finally, I give some kind of example how the technology innovation for higher productivity as well. So what is the design innovation? I think I need to divide into the two different definition about what is design first. We all know about the design is taking the challenge and providing optimized solution. So the role of design nowadays in business has expanded over the years and no longer just simply about enhancing aesthetics and functionality. It's now make the critical contribution to for testing organization innovation to enable company to increasing their competitiveness as well. The influence of a design for innovation can be described as the creative process. Its outcome enable organization to increasing innovativeness by using the full spectrum of design, so including the design. So those kind of design is action to create a product, as you know, and also the design strategy. So in the management of the design process, and finally, it's the organization level design thinking. So the philosophy and the method of the design apply to the business, the management as well. So this is crucial that any organization is demonstrate the design, the contribution to the extensive area of innovation, where the innovation is still an important agenda for top-level manager in organizations around the world, and is considered an essential element for successful organization. Designing often influences all-level business operation, as impact can have a profound influence on the success of the business as well. So how about the innovation? So the innovation is one of the simple principle of innovation is described by the Department of Trade Industry in UK. They mention about the innovation is as the successful exploration of the new idea. The parameter of innovation have a weighting in the way of similar to the design. So innovation was often seen as the product or service, the breakthrough, whether radical or incremental the change. So now the total innovation, including the new organization structure and the business model using existing technology and beyond, and the micro innovation, which are developed locally and in the small scale, often outside the R&D program, which are hard to measure by conventional indicators. So that is further emphasized by the OECD, which describe innovation type as the product, process, marketing, and organization as well. So however, embracing other area innovation is an increasing important agenda as a technology innovation. Is now so by the emerging economics such as India and Malaysia as well. So now I would like to highlight strongly about innovation is not equal to the invention. Innovation is a turning an idea into the solution that add value from the customer perspective. So the innovation can have several different kind of form as well. So the relationship between the design and innovation can be found in the three main ways in which design is related to the innovation. The firstly is provide the symbolic representation as a vision for innovation, which is closely linking to the design capacity to visualize idea. And secondly, it creates a great meaning for the innovative products and the service is delivered. And lastly, it underpins how company as a whole create and maintain the innovation itself. From the operational and strategic management, and important ingredients of all of the association between the design and innovation is the design ability to manipulate and visualize the creativity to solve the organization complex or maybe the wicked problem at a different level of organization. So we can say the design as a bridge between scientific knowledge and the new technology to produce a usable the end product, emphasizing that kind of the link, creativity and innovation. It can be fun taking design to be organization level, where it can influence a change in the vision of a strategy of the company itself, and where innovation is also seen as essential the part of the success as well. So I mentioned previously about the innovation is try to have a solving that kind of problem, but those kind of ideas, so we need to understand about where is idea coming from. We can have some kind of solution for have a innovation. So idea coming from, idea often is original from the dialogue in which the individual they heard about the challenge or maybe recognize the new path for solving it. And it is therefore crucial to create a space in which the challenges are discussed openly and without fail. So simulating the new solution about the innovative idea, the proposed innovative idea is to make sure we have some evidence. And when we ask the engineer to build a production, the quality product, it will be waste effort. So therefore, we need to collect as many of the low ideas possible in the idea bank. A low idea can be as specific as a customer telling, or maybe they need to have a new feature, or maybe just your boss have a vague as your boss just saying. So let's add some machine learning to our product and anything in between. So that is the idea. So I would like to show you about the picture, say, so how we to make this kind of idea become the commercial successful product. So in this picture, I show you about roughly about taking about the 3,000, the raw idea. They can come to the one successful, the commercial product. So during this kind of the idea, they need to have the exploring their idea. Okay, so exploring this idea such as performing from the few simple experiment, filling the patent disclosure, or discussing with the management, so they can moving from the 3,000 to one possible the explore idea. So those kind of idea is largely is a safety screening the process as well. So since you collect as many as you can find, and you end up with a dozen or 100 of raw idea in your idea bank, the R&D team won't have enough time to research everything. So they have to decide which idea deserve the more research and which one don't. So the company goal are the first filter. If the idea have no potential to positively impact the matrix the company R&D team is currently focused on, so original idea will be discarded. And for now, so in addition, the prototypes probably is another essential for idea validation. They simulate the user experience with the intent to answer a specific question, so the R&D team can iterate and improve the expectation and experience as well. So I think the design is a systematic expansion of a concept simultaneously use and create the knowledge. So they have the three key elements identified. The first one is a design strategy and organization level design thinking will bring this kind of innovative idea to successful idea. So however, those kind of successful idea will need to support of a business context. So the business context model also including the strategic level and the organization level of company. I mentioned before, the strategic level including the management decision, and also is determined this kind of management decision, which is determined by the business activity, including the range of a product and the service, and the marketing budget, resource management, and employees as well. Design strategy operator, the strategic level dealing with the management of the design in the company, so usually conduct by design manager or maybe the senior manager, which is considered important for business success. So recently described as a design thinking, is concerned with how the design principle can be used in the marketing business dealing with both the rapid complex the change organization
Right.
face in the modern markets and a
Right.
set of the tool of a method for designer to better comprehend the feasibility, viability, and desirability as well.
I'm
So
sorry, Professor Kevin.
yes,
I would like to ask you a question because
yes,
it appears
please.
to me that for design innovation and design thinking, you know, the success rate just now, because I'm a science and engineering person by training,
Yeah.
the success rate from the raw ideas funneling down all the way to commercialization to and launch to market is only 0.033%, just like I calculated. That is very, very low. So why would SMEs want to leverage on design innovation given the fact that the success rate is so low? Or is it just natural? If we didn't have design innovation, probably the success rate is going to be even lower than 0.033%.
Yeah, I think like the previously we just using the traditional conventional the product
Right.
development the process. So the successful rate is very very low. So if we
Yes.
want to increase in the successful rate, so if we have the design innovation, so we can increase in the successful rate. That lies the reason we say the design innovation is kind of quite important. As we understanding about the successful rate is a low, so we need to do more in the conceptualized stage earlier and to bring all the possible the R&D team. They have a lot kind of the robotics, this kind of conversation and communication. They can to reduce those kind of the failure in the later stage.
I see. Yeah. Thank you so much, Professor Kevin. Yeah. Please
Yeah.
carry on.
Okay, so in these slides, I will always say I often work with the team who are persuading the grand vision and idea I mentioned about they could really have an impact for their customer and for their business as well. So you can see the vision, sometimes the company vision is fantastic, even necessary for keeping the team motivated and going to the right direction. But to wait until that vision is completely built to test for the desirability, feasibility, and viability is foolhardy. Test for three characters need to be built during this kind of implementation. So this adjustment can be made to keep you on the right course. So I'm trying to propose another way, just mentioned about the design thinking and system design of the framework of this kind of innovative process. As we know, the design thinking is a process for creative problem solving. Design thinking have the human-centric core. Is encouraging organization to focus on the people they are creating for, which lead to the better product, service, and internal process. When you sit down to create a solution for the business needs, the first question should be always what the human needs behind it. So about the system design is a process of defining the architecture, the module, and also interface and the data of the system to satisfy specific requirement. The system design could be seen as the application assistance theory to product development. They have some overlap between the discipline of system analysis and the system architecture and the system engineering as well. So in this slide, I'd like try to say about for the new product development, not all the new product, all the market pools, the new product, the some of the product probably they are the technology push the product. So let me to explain about why is the technology push the product. Technology push is where the technology is already available and the designer make a product to use it. The best example I give is a touch screen the technology. That was first developed by the Royal Radars establishment in the 80s. The Harry Parker's pick up on this kind of technology and brought out to the touch screen the computer. And later, as technology become the refined and could recognize with the handwriting. So the apo-PDA you can see and the Plum Pilot. And over the recent years, technology has become more and more advanced. It's now found in the majority of mobile phone and laptop and computer. So that is one of the example for technology push. So how about the marketing pool? Marketing pool is where the marketing is near product. So the designer that make a product to meet the needs. I think the best example is a camera. So they have evolved over the years to meet the changing the needs of the users. The marketing need to be take and store the larger number of image and the size of the cameras. The need to be reduced as well. So due to the development in the design in the camera, so we like to making for the more lightweight, more complex, and clear resolution and so on, those kind of specification. So that editing the software improvement alongside as well. So over the recent years, they have developed to get even smaller, you can see, and haven't been put into the mobile phone. And now the people, they want to change. So people want to able to take a photo by themselves. So the developer also even make this kind of the camera even smaller, and then the moving this kind of camera in the front of the phone as well. So that is the marketing pool based on the customer the voice as well. So the previous I mentioned about this thing as well. So now I'm moving to the new product development process. I'm talking more about the new product development process in this section. So you can understand about the nothing is more critical for successful projects than the design defects. They remain undetected until the product in the production, or even handing over to the customer. So I think that would be disaster. So this picture to show the detailed analysis of the product development process in the industry company in order to increasing the success rate in the new product development. So we know about many aspects of the situation of the designer. So they found existing tool and the procedure to the designer capability have to be considered in the early conceptual design stage. So you can see from this picture, after the conceptual design stage, the design freedom is limited. But after this one, you can also see about the engineering change the cost is dramatically increasing a lot. So how we to have a lot kind of the conversation to make the right decision in the earlier stage, I think that's kind of quite is essential for the design innovation as well. So for many industry, the new product development is now the single most important factor, the driving company success or failure. The emphasis the new product have the research from the strategy management, engineering, marketing, and other disciplines to study the new product development process. So most conclude, in order to successful in the new product development, the company must simultaneously to meet the two critical objectives. The number one that should be the maximizing the fit of the customer need, and then to minimize the time to the market. I think that's kind of quite essential for the business to success. So successful company have the unique, the superior product that have been built in the voice of a customer. I think that's essential. And successful company allows articulate the strategic intent and make their R&D portfolio to find the fit between the new product development goal and then current resource and their competitiveness. Their success also remain in how well the technology area they entering contribute to the long-term duration of a company by helping them build a new core of capability critical to the company in the long-term goal as well. Other interpretations include using the spiral or maybe the parallels the development process to both reduce the cycle time and to better incorporate the customer and the supplier's requirement in the product and the process design, and also the using the executive the champion to ensure the project gain the resources and the organization commitment necessary to their completion as well. So that is the reason I propose for the IPD approach. I think the picture to cover the outline, the three phases of the human-centric design method for developing the proposed innovative product design and development approach. And this approach already being used in the industry and testing several times as well. So the innovative product design and development approach is proposed by myself in the 2013, which is a systematic innovation method that can assist organizations, especially SMEs, in the healthy industry to design and develop a new product or service. The IP approach including the 5-stage, okay? This kind of 5-stage systematic design process for new product development. We also refer to the O5 method, the 5 opportunity approach, which are respectively identify opportunity, understanding opportunity, conceptualizing opportunity, and also realizing opportunity, and finally, opportunity commercialization as well. Through the 5 stages.
Professor Kevin.
Yes.
Sorry, Professor Kevin. Just a quick question.
Yes.
What does IPDD stand for? Perhaps I missed out just now.
Oh, the IPDD is the innovative, the product design and development. The IPDD. Yeah.
Innovative product design and development approach that is actually proprietarized by your laboratory.
Yes.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, carry on, please.
Okay, so I mentioned about this during this kind of the 5 stage, okay, the designing and developing a new product. So organizations, so they can systematically guide the consumer-centric, the new product development. Previously, probably because of each different functional department, they have their own approach, but they hardly can communicate, can working together. So that is the reason I introduced for IPD approach. And based on this approach, they can to establish plan and accepted by the consumer and can extend the life cycle of product, reduce the production and the revision costs as well. So currently the IPD approach have been successful used in the public and the private sector for service design, NPD, and system development cases as well. So as we know about the requirement analysis in the process of defining expectation of the user is the application that is to be built or modified. So it involves all tasks that are conducted to identify the need of a different stakeholder. So also we have introduced several different kind of the toolkit to helping for the industry. They can use in this kind of toolkit to find, to refine and understanding about their custom voice as well. And also they can testify and to validate their prototype and their design concept as well. So the previous I mentioned about the new process and the new approach as well. So now I will need to move into about how we can use in the ICT, achieve the product design and development. So I think ICT have a lot of potential as it's been known about, I mentioned about now the complex product is no longer just only the one organization. They can to build all these kind of product in-house. And probably they need to have a collaborator with their spider as well. So the collaborative, the product development, so its activity, they require participation of individual for sharing information and organization design tasks and resources. So particularly in the complex and the larger project design often involved for multiple person or team, they need to collaborate in the design process. Each design project carrying the goal or mission is creating orientation for organization people to the equative design activity, including design communication and problem solving and documentation as well. So each person perform the different tasks and require the different design information. So the novel, this kind of model I show in the picture is based on the integrated perspective, collaborative human-centric product development, where the team member can incorporate into the virtual environment to implement a project as well. So we know about the project development team is formed by the personnel from the different functional departments. So I mentioned before, even they are from the different company as well. So they are going to support for the analysis or design and development, and also transition this kind of information to manufacturing of the new product. The team provide a mechanism to facilitate the key process. They are involved in the administration, marketing, design, and manufacturing. By involving all these kind of multidisciplinary experts needed during the product development, so a successful product development team will result in a more entirely understanding of all the requirements, so such as the customer requirement, the limitation of machine the capability, and more balanced the discussion of the issue and alternative the designing both the product and this the process. So we can know about they have a 4 different kind of situation for collaborative product development. So you can see from the picture, maybe they have the same organization, a same location, and maybe they have same organization but in different location. So you can see from the picture. So typically the product development environment, as shown in this picture, including the human, machine, and software. So in a fully integrated distributed process, a necessary condition is all the component must be network and be to interoperate. Okay, so therefore for distributed product development, the primary requirement is a network ability of all the facility in the environment to enable remoting the working. The most modern manufacturing facility do possess some kind of network interface to enable the remote operation. But however, we know for practical reason, the total networking may not always be possible. Maybe they are not come from the different company. So since in the typical manufacturing organization, there exist many non-network facility and which lack such an interface, and therefore they cannot to communicate directly with the rest of the network environment. So we need to have some kind of solution for this one. So the solution come out with the open system interconnect model. They can ensure the interoperability through the layer architecture. So where each layer they can represent the different level of the abstraction, ranging from the low level the electronics signal to the higher level semantics. So from the picture, you can see the interpret this abstraction for the CPD environment, starting from the layer 1 and the physical layer define all electrical and the physical specification for device to the highest level, level 7. The layer interface direct to and perform the common application service for the application the process. The common application service provide the semantic the conversation between the association application process. So the level 7 they can enable transparent communication between the heterogeneous application and facilitate remote working for distribute the CPD. So I show you the picture about how we using the virtual integration of a collaborative product development and how the component of a development system will configured in the proposed environment is assume the software agent are in the non-network environment. The non-network software agent have a difficulty in sharing information or data at the presentation layer. So however, without the integrated network environment, the non-network software agent cannot take advantage of any application protocol that may exist in the presentation layer to ensure the distributed collaboration with other agents. So therefore, being the non-network environment, the software agents can take advantage of distributed collaboration features over by the layer 3 and above. The development system through the human presenter interconnect the gap between the network environment and the non-network environment, then to simulate the application protocol to the presentation layer to provide the virtual network environment So that is our approach. So the overall architecture of the proposed system is shown in this picture. So the process are the project planning and management, idea, gathering procedure, marking analysis, and the integration, the implementation. So the user can implement the entire integrated system to all operate the individual subsystem separately. In addition, all these elements interact with one another, subject to the type of information necessary and the user requirements as well. It provides the team member with flexible access to any level of design process based on the authorities. So one of the advantage feature of the proposed system is the integrate the product development stage from the marketing analysis to the concept development. So in addition, the user, they can be flexible in their choice of the tool or stage and store their data to the local host or to the server in the cloud. So previously I mentioned that now I'm moving for the next section talking about how we to using this kind of technology, the technology innovation, how we to helping for the higher productivity. So as we know about nowadays, artificial intelligence and robotics automation start the fifth wave of technology revolution in manufacturing. So the sector for some times right now, the demand for the digital transformation between the necessary, the great potential in empower the human work with the human machine collaboration by combining the human intelligence and with artificial intelligence. As known, the machine automatics is like the lifestyle of the human brain. It's considered to be adapted at the tasks that involve the logic, language, and analytics the thinking as well. I think that is the computer they're strong in there. The AI is described as being the better and the language, logic, the critical thinking, or maybe the numbers or reasoning as well. The right side of a human brain, I think for the human, we are best in the expressive and the creative task as well. So some of the ability popular associated with the right side of the brain, including maybe we are recognize the face, expressing emotion, creating the music, and reading the emotion, and being the intuitive and being the creative as well. So as an AI technology have graduated in mature in the 2017. So the know-how in developing the innovative AI-based business model and the know-how in the integrating machine learning into the future world pattern have promoted significant advantage for many technology company. So now I'm trying to say about the digital twin is the dynamic representation in the digital world of physical objective, which enable virtual model in the digital world to interpret, interact, and integrate the state of this physical object. That can happen by continuous real-time data transmission using the sensor. Through this kind of perceived analysis, the monitoring, control, simulation, prediction, and also give some recommendation. So digital twin they offer the powerful way to create and enhance the economic value of the physical asset, process, and the service. So the digital twin is a virtual representation of the physical object of the system. Because this life cycle, so it's used the real-time data and other source to enable learning, reasoning, and dynamically recalibrating for improving decision making. So you can see that in the digital twin, we have 5 different kind of level the twins. So we have a device twin, so we have the human twin, we have a process twin, we have a demand twin, also we have the system twin. So the generally speaking, so how we using that kind of 5 level the twin, how those kind of the collaboration, we have we have the three type of digital twin they can to working together. So you can see from here. So we have the human to the first one, that's your human to machine, the digital twin. We have a human interaction with a machine. And finally, we can the human to human and human to machine and the human machine the interaction. So this kind of combination and integration of the three digital twin are involved together. It's not about we talk about the digital thread as well. I give the quickly to one example how we using this kind of to do the information sharing, and you can see from this picture. So the type 3, the digital twins, how the human collaborate with a machine interact with the machines. So we know about the fashion industry. They know that is a service-oriented industry. Normally for this kind of industry, so the people they buy in that kind of the fashion clothes, they will exchange some kind of information, maybe from the other human beings. So they get a lot of the new information, but maybe by their friend or maybe by some magazine. So those kind of the exchange information, they gathering together. So the main customer, okay, they think probably they need to buy that kind of fashion product. So we know about those kind of fashion product. Probably they can go to the department store to buy it. So the customer go to the department store, and then because they have exchanged some kind of a new idea and the information data from their friend, so they think they probably need to have a lot kind of clothes as well. So they go to the department store, would like to buy the new clothes. And when they go to buy the new clothes, now when they purchase these new clothes, and the machine to start to recording the customer already buy the one clothes, and then they can start to do the exchange the information. They can interact with the providing selling the data to fashion designer. Those kind of data to sharing to the fashion designer. They can to know about what is the customer like in the real time as well. So also the fashion designer, they can forecasting the next fashion trend as well. When this kind of the fashion trend be stored in the database, and also this kind of database system, they can exchange this kind of information to the production flow as well. On production flow, they can to understand about the trend, so they can start to prepare the raw material and to prepare for the next trends, the clothes as well. So I think like the scenario to using this kind of digital twin to sharing the information and using the design innovation in the earlier stage, and then we can to really understand about customer voice and to deliver the right product in the early to make sure about the product to increasing the successful rate. So that's all today. I would like to sharing about how we to using the design innovation for the higher productivity. I really like to you enjoy my today talk and welcome for all the questions, and thank you very much for your listening.
Thank you so much, Professor Kevin. I think that was a very highly insightful presentation. We have learned that there were actually various changes in the business environment, with customers becoming very fickle-minded, and even more fastidious than ever before, especially in the wake of COVID-19 pandemic.
Yeah.
So we have also realized that with digital transformation, Industry 4.0, and COVID-19, of course, it has affected the structure of the industry, the state of the economy. And in order for us to adjust to the new normal, companies need to pivot to new business models, as you have rightfully mentioned. We would like to now move over to the live Q&A questions. So again, please allow me to encourage everyone, if you have any pressing questions, burning questions whatsoever, post them on the chat box below, and with your name and country, and we will let Professor Kevin answer the questions. So, Professor Kevin, before taking questions from viewers, I would like to ask you some questions from viewers who have left their messages with us earlier. So, if you don't mind, could you show us your PowerPoint presentation, the last slide? Yeah. In your presentation, you explained how design innovation can enhance productivity in the manufacturing sector through design innovation. Interestingly, I realized that for fashion industry, it's actually a very good example of a service sector industry because it pertains to consumer retail. So this is a good example on how service sector could also benefit from design innovation. But could you share with us other cases of how design innovation can enhance productivity in the services sector? So that's the question from one of our viewers.
Okay, yeah, I think, yeah, previously I mentioned about because normally for fashion industry, so they didn't know about what's the customer want until they been until the department store is sending back all the information to the production, so they start to realize, okay, that is the customer want. But you can know about the time maybe they have the sequences. So maybe the users, they go to department store and they buy this kind of product. This kind of information just after all the product being selling and sending all the information to the production flow. So it's too late for the fashion designer to understand about the trend as well. So if we can to analyze using the machine, yeah, as I mentioned before, they can to easy to understand about how many is the product being purchased. And those kind of the purchase behavior already be recalled by the machine. And machine can to sending those kind of information to the two sides, one to the fashion designer, one to the production the flow as well. So they can to gather those kind of information currently to do the preparation. And also for the fashion designer, they can start to think about probably this kind of the trend for the next the fashion trend as well.
And this is part of design innovation process,
Yeah.
as we have
Yes.
actually mentioned in your earlier slides. Thank you so much. We have another question right now, but before we move on to the next few questions, I just want to let our viewers send their regards to you. So we have viewers from our Mongolian liaison officer, Babelet. Babelet says hi to you. And we have from Cambodia, Mr. Serivuth. He says hi to you. And Mr. Bobby Jones, good vibes. And of course, we even have from Mauritius, Dev Apaswamy. Good morning from Mauritius. So they are all sending their regards to you. We have one from Singapore, Ms. Luk Yen Ling, saying hi to you.
Hi.
And so from Singapore, Ms. Hui Hung Teo. And now I have another next question, and this is from one of our productivity experts who has been our resource person for many years, also from Singapore, Mr. Kelvin Chan. So Kelvin Chan asked you, Professor Kevin, wonderful presentation.
Thank you.
Design and systems design is an important element for competitiveness. My question to you is this: how can a small company or SME capitalize on such an approach in their business? Or is it only for the big MNCs and not for the SMEs?
Oh, thank you for Kevin for this kind of the wonderful question. So as I introduced my approach previously, so I mentioned about the virtual integration is not only for the big corporate, it's also specialized for the SME. Yeah, as we know about SME, probably their facilities is not comparable with the big corporate. So sometimes they also have the contributed some part of the product development for the corporation. So those kind, if they to adapt for this kind of design innovation, so they can in the maybe different kind of level to collaborate with the join for the product development the process as well. So that is what I say. For example, yeah, if the SME they don't have that kind of the high level application, and probably they can use in the low level, probably even the mobile phone, or even they have that kind of a software agent, and plus with the human agent to transfer for those kind of data sharing, so they can easily to adapt for the product development life cycle as well. So I think that is my approach to helping for SME, they can easily to adapt for that one.
Thank you so much, Professor. There's another question from one Mr. Bobby Jones, and I thought it would be appropriate for Dr. Tseng to answer. So thank you, Dr. Kevin Tseng, for sharing your expertise. It was very exciting and comprehensive. So two questions. Should there be a priority area in business operations for design innovation? And second question, what's the average cost?
Yeah. I think that the first question I like to asking about the priority area in the business operation for the design innovation. I think for the company, if they like to apply for the design innovation, I think the high level manager they need to join for the design innovation, and also need to give the authority, and then to involve the whole R&D team in the first to join for the business operation. Yeah, because we know about R&D team, so they have a responsibility for the new product development. So I think they are the first priority need to be joined for the design innovation. So what the average implementation cost, I think it's hard to say about how much you need to be spending. Yeah, depending on the how complex your product development. If your product development process is more complex, so I think the cost will be increasing. But if it is very the lean the product development, so I don't think the cost will costing a lot. So sorry, I cannot just give the exactly the cost, but just I think because each the cost it depends on the how big a project is.
Exactly. Prof, we have another question, this time from the sunny islands of Mauritius. So Dev Apaswamy from Mauritius has this question. So how can we apply the techniques for productivity improvement in the public services? So would you be able to share some of your thoughts?
Okay.
Design innovation for public services. Yeah.
Thank you for your question. So I think for the public service, I think it's quite now I think I can give you the one example I already having for the public service right now. The one of the example I having for the government to do the like kind of the new system. This kind of new system they need to involve for the different departments, because this kind of new system is a healthy care system, and this kind of healthy care system they need to gather some information from the public sector as well. And also they need to know about the some kind of function we need to provide for the public service as well. So those kind of things we are trying to using this kind of data sharing, we're using design thinking and to gathering all the information and to make sure and balance about all the vision and from the government side and also from the public side. And then we have to try to make sure about this kind of the data and being to sharing to each other, and then all agree with this one. So we make us the specification, and then we're moving on to deliver this kind of system coming out. So that is my answers for this one.
Thank you so much, Professor. I have another interesting question, this time from one of our colleagues from the Singapore Productivity Center, Mr. Bernard. So noted the many acronyms. So there's CPD, ICT processes, INNO. Could you just roughly tell them what is CPD? I think ICT is Infocom Technology. INNO, I'm not too sure about that.
Okay, thank you for your question. I think for CPD is for the collaborative product development. The ICT is the innovation, communication, and technology process. The INNOs could be the innovation. So that is my acronym.
I see. Thank you so much. We also have from Cambodia, Mr. Saributh. So is critical innovation a part of component to support the design and system innovation? So thanks beforehand. Critical innovation, is it a part component to support design?
Thank you for the mood. About is critical innovation in power components support design and system innovation. I think the critical innovation, I think it's hard to say the critical innovation, the power of the component. I think definitely the critical innovation is a part of the component, support the design and system innovation. But I just try to highlight about the previous I mentioned about they have a marketing pool the product, or maybe they have a technology pool the product. So those kind of different kind of the product, they need to the different kind of the thinking. So they can have the system thinking, though they can have the design thinking. So those of they are the critical innovation, trying to helping them to helping to solving kind of the product development process as well.
Thank you so much. As a matter of fact, there are some very good comments. Mr. Rizwan Buttar says that it's an awesome session. Rizwan Buttar from Pakistan wants to say thanks to you. And just how we were talking about Bobby Jones, I appreciate your answer a lot, Dr. Kevin. Thank you so much. I'm from the Philippines. And from Mauritius, thank you so much. Very insightful presentation, Professor Kevin Tseng. So we have actually come to the end of the session. And as a wrap up and for your final remarks, I was wondering if I could give you some time to send your final advice and message to our viewers who are watching today's session live. So Dr. Kevin Tseng, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for your invitation. Thank you for the time, and thank you for everyone listening. I think that it's my kind of quite enjoy to sharing some kind of knowledge about design innovation. I think the design innovation is essential for the company, especially for SME. If they can use the design innovation to exchange for their company's organization level thinking, I think that definitely will helping for their higher productivity as well. But for adaptable design innovation, it's not just the one person's job. They need to have more people, especially for the multidisciplinary areas people, that to join to support for the design innovation. And that will make design innovation successful, and design innovation will become the culture of your organization as well. And thank you again, and really enjoy to have have the presentation with you online, and hope you are enjoying it. And see you next time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for inspiring final remarks, Professor Kevin. We really appreciate your time. So, ladies and gentlemen, the APO will host more productivity talks and other digital programs featuring different resource person and guest speakers. Please join our next series coming up in a few weeks' time, and we will be looking forward to seeing everyone very soon. So thank you very much, everyone, and thank you very much once again, Professor Kevin Tseng, for your time. So when the time allows, and when travel bubbles are created, and when the pandemic finally ceases, we look forward to seeing you and welcoming you in Tokyo, Japan. And of course, we would love to visit the Republic of China, Taiwan as well. So take care of yourself, Dr. Kevin Tseng. And this is Mr. Joshua Lau from the APO Secretariat signing off. Thank you so much, Professor Kevin. Goodbye.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Goodbye, ladies and gentlemen.
Bye.